It's easy to be impressed by turnover or number of staff or whatever, or accolades or awards or all the things that other people see. But actually, what you want to walk away with is the money in your pocket, and that comes down to making sure that business has a really, really good bottom line. And it's very easy to lose sight of that in growth. Because one's natural inclination is to bounce in there and do it for them and help out, because that's what we want to do. We want to help people, but you can't. You're actually going to have to stand back, and you're going to have to work on you, and you're going to have to let them develop, because that's how you get better people.
I want to dive in a little bit deeper into that, because this happened with me and my business. I'm pretty sure this happens to all business owners who came from startup to went to scaled up and went ahead and scaled up their business. What did you say to your people? The people who started out with you, you were about to hire a senior level person from the outside. What did you tell them? How did they think about it? Were they asking you about this person's position in the hierarchy? Were they challenging your decision during that time?
I think, yeah. I mean, we went back and forth with the existing people because, on the one hand, they were saying, oh, okay, I love the business, so I'll do it. I don't really want to, but I'll do it, which of course is fatal because, if it's not for them, there's nothing wrong with it not being for them. But having somebody who doesn't really feel that their heart's in doing it is never going to work. But equally, they're terrified, as we've said, of something from the outside, and trying to say to them, well, you didn't want to do it. So, your heart's not in doing it. So it's got to be somebody from the outside. I think they're very quick to judge. They'll go into it open-minded. But the moment that outside person makes a mistake, which they're bound to do, then it's, told you so. Knew you didn't like them from a day one, So it's tricky. But I think it's about investment. I think you've got to, again, and this is another job for you as a leader, I think you need to take that person on very slowly and allow them lots and lots of time to settle in and build that into your finances. Because I think what we tend to do is panic hire, even at a senior level. And the business is big enough, so I need X, Y, and Z. And, when actually we should be saying, the business will be big enough in 6 months. So I need to look now. And, if I find them now, fantastic, but I've got 6 months to find them. And then probably another 6 months till they're up and running, and make it really clear to everybody that, they've got 3 years, 4 years experience of business already. So it's only fair to expect this new person to need 6 months to settle in. It's a terrible mistake to expect them to be up and running on the first day, which of course people tend to do. I think it's about expectations.
That's amazing. And one of the things that we discussed early on, and you answered early on, is that people have to find why you want to do what you do. So in your case, in your first business, you mentioned that it was propelled by, you're being a mom and you have to provide food on the table. What about after that? How did you find out why you wanted to do these things? And how did you communicate that to the rest of your people so that they have it too in their hearts?
Well, I went through various stages. I went through the sort of early had to put food on the table stage, and when the children were young. And then later on, they were finding their own way, quite rightly, as late teens do, and they drifted in and out working for the business. And my son particularly settled for a while working for me. And so I morphed for a bit and thought, this is a family business that I'll hand down. And actually, I think that was probably about when we had 40 odd people. And neither of us were enjoying it, but neither wanted to tell the other one. And eventually I saw how unhappy it was making him. And I said, you go off and do your thing. You're only 23 or whatever he was by then. Go off and have your own life. And that was great. But again, it meant, now what? Because it's not for the kids when they're small. It's not a family business. Why am I doing it now? And I talked myself into the growth is good and this is to look after me at my old age, and this is sensible and it's for people who work here. And actually, none of that is really enough. It wasn't for me anyway. I wasn't ever born and sensible about looking after just me. The people have to be terribly on board to keep you in, and I think I should. In fact, I know, and I've said before, I probably should have got out much earlier, not maybe even when my son left, actually, because it led to some very, why am I doing this? I'm not very happy doing it years towards the end. So all back front with me.
Well, a lot of people go through that when times get tough in business. We look into ourselves again and we wonder, why am I doing this again? Why am I going through all these hard things, dealing with these difficult people in my team and in my clients list? So what happened then? How did you get to realize why you still wanted to go on?
Well, increasingly I didn't. And I think, the moment you get to that stage, word gets around. And so, you start to get approached by all sorts of VCs and, other businesses who, under various pretexts, and it was a really interesting one because, of course, is a very sort of shark-infested water and very male-dominated too. So nearly all of them would come in and say, well, it's awful you're having a rough time and you're having problems, but of course you would do because you're a woman.
That's not nice.
Wasn't the best way to get on with me, actually. There was probably a certain amount of truth in it in manufacturing, but it was a very tough gig for a woman. But no, it was hard. And so I dilly-dallied. I got some offers on the business. I thought, shall I, shan't I? Pulled out at the last minute, like many people do. And it's your baby. Is this sensible? Oh, my goodness, what do I do if I don't have this too? Comes into it. So I wasted some years, actually, to my anger. I should have taken the first offer. It was best offer and would have been the best one for me. Damn it. But I didn't anyway. And in the end, it just got to the pitch and I thought, I've read it. I cannot. I was getting so ill with burnout. I just thought I can't do it. And somebody wanted to take over the brand and the people. They didn't want the actual unit because it was too far from them. It was a competitor. So we just made a deal. And within literally only a few weeks, I think about 3 or 4 weeks it took, if that. And it was just done. And and I thought I would really regret it. But by that time, I woke up and I thought, this is wonderful. I am so, so pleased. Why didn't I do it 5 years ago? And I think, a lot of people say you should get out before go too long, too late in your business. When you've seen it all before and it gets to that pitch that you've seen it all before, is definitely the time you should get out. Because it just doesn't do it for you anymore.
Very interesting to hear. And I'm so happy to learn these things from you. I'm not there yet. Maybe someday I would be. SEO Hackers, very young. We just turned 11 years and started it when I was 22. Now I'm 33. Yeah, it's all by God's grace. I'm very blessed to have this business like you. I didn't start out with a lot. It was like 60 something US dollars. That's my capital, and just started this website. Yeah.
What can be done? I hope all the listeners take note of this. Honestly, not everybody has to be a tech unicorn.
Yeah.
Look at what you've done. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And I'm learning a lot. I'm reflecting on that, on what you said about exiting. And I definitely later after this recording, I'm going to be thinking more about that, so that in the hopefully far future, I have a lot of things that I want to do still with the business, but I definitely need to plan ahead.
Oddly enough, it was something we covered in my book, and I spoke to the person who made that first offer for my business for some wisdom to put into the book about it. And that's an entrepreneur called Jeremy Harbour. And he argues that every business over about 500,000 UK or even dollars turnover should actually start thinking, I need to be sellable at any time. Because we never know what good life's going to throw at us. We never know which morning we're going to wake up and think, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. or something in life's going to change, or you're going to be ill, God forbid, but, if you were, or whatever, and if you're actually sale ready all the time, then you think, oh, now's the moment, jolly good, and it doesn't matter. And all the things you do to sell anyway are very good for your business, putting in the right systems, keeping clean accounts, maximizing value most of all. They all make sense. They're good business. So I think that's a really important thing to bear in mind. Just make sure you're sellable any day you fancy it.
What does maximizing value mean?
Well, I think, you've got to, it's particularly with growth, actually, you get very easily seduced by, a bit like you were saying about metric being people. It's easy to be impressed by turnover or number of staff or whatever, or accolades or awards or all the things that other people see. But actually, what you want to walk away with is the money in your pocket, and that comes down to making sure that business has a really, really good bottom line. And it's very easy to lose sight of that in growth. We can't all afford to be Uber and still making a loss.
For sure. So it's not about all the other metrics. It's about what the business is making bottom line. What other things, and I'm sure when you were preparing to exit and sell the business, there were hiccups along the way that you didn't see. What were some of the things that your potential buyers asked you to fix up before you were able to finally exit?
Actually, at the size I was, nobody really was bothered. I think you have to get to bigger than I was before people are looking for a sort of ready done beauty of a business. I was still in, even, at that moment, I was still in scale up stage, and they could add, as experienced business buyers and sellers, they could add so much to the bottom line, which in my ignorance, I wasn't doing, just by, maybe some mergers and acquisitions or, all sorts of the businessy stuff that I was still probably quite afraid to do. People like that can change your business value in seconds. And in those early stages, they're going to look to do that. They're buying a vehicle to apply their expertise as much as anything. I had one in particular who was so convinced about the male thing. He thought, providing we remove a woman from the top of the business, that, it didn't matter. The business was going to flourish. But that's his argument. That was a London-based VC. But on the whole, that, people who buy and sell businesses know what they're doing. They know how they're going to increase the value and then sell the business on. Very few of them are buying to keep it.
That's very, very good stuff. And Jan, thank you so much for this time that you've given us, for all the wisdom that we learned from you today. And I just want to know, if people want to know more about you, they want to ask you questions, where's the best place for them to do that?
Absolutely. Anybody who has a question, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I'll ping you an email back again. You can get all my contact details on my website, which is jancavelle.co.uk. And yes, there's a page about the book with links to that as well. But also my email address is there, or a contact form. And as I say, please don't hesitate to get in touch.
Thanks so much. Well, there you have it. Guys, we will have these links in the show notes, her book, her website, her LinkedIn as well. And, Jan is a business coach. And if you have questions on business, please do get in touch with her, ask her these things, because what you guys are doing, it's a noble calling. Business is a noble calling, and doing it right is very important for you, for your people, for the economy. Jan, thank you so much for being here. We are better for it.
My honor and pleasure.
Oh, hey, and since you're here, can you do me a favor? Can you hit on the subscribe button and hit the bell button and select all notifications so that whenever we have a new video, you're going to be the first one to know. Until then, keep leading.
But there's a lot of flaws with Ethereum also. It's slow, gas fees are high, scalability is an issue. And here comes a company like Cardano who built on things, because he co-founded Ethereum to begin with, built on and corrected the mistakes, and now he has scalability. So that's one. So I guess it's like Ethereum improved version